Welcome to Fight Night Hearthstone Edition, featuring some of the top players from around the world. With $15,000 of prize money on the line, who will go home the Hearthstone champion? This is Fight Night.
Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Fight Night Hearthstone here at ESGN TV. Last night we had our kickoff match for Season 5, Ekop versus Forsen. Tonight, two of Europe's best in Savjz versus Darkwonyx. I'll tell you all about it right after you take a look at yesterday's highlight.
Well, unfortunately for him, we have his deck list and there's no Deathwing in there.
Yeah.
And that's it. It looks like Ekop gonna win game number 1. Oh my god, down to 2 health against 3 health here. No cards in deck. Absolutely crazy game there. Forsen going down, and he's gonna have to just use his last deck. Looks like that's just about it. Yeah. And wow.
3-0.
There we go.
DogeHouse fashion.
That's how we open up, man.
Yep. How does it feel to shut down the newbies down right in the first match in true doggy style fashion?
Oh, it feels great. I mean, we did what we do best. We win 3-0 in the first match of the fight night, and yeah, pretty easy stuff.
Now let's meet the players. From Team Managrind, Reels, Darkwonyx, Chucky, and Forsen. From Team DogeHouse, Nyx, Savjz, Artosis, and Ekop. So here are the rules for Fight Night Hearthstone Edition. 8 players form 2 teams and battle it out 4v4. 2 team captains spin the heartless ESGN wheel, which will determine the matchups. Now the battle begins. In order to win, the player has to beat all 3 of his rivals' decks. After all the players have battled solo, it's time for the final ace match. All 4 players on each team unite in a grand showdown to find out who is the strongest. Ultimately, the stakes are high. Teams can win as much as $5,000 for crushing their opponents. If one team manages to go even further and clean sweep their opponents, the winners will receive a huge bonus reward of $5,000 on top.
Hey everybody, welcome to the show. Ekop, you were the one who won last night, but DogeHouse has a tradition of going up 1-0. How are you going to make sure that in day number 2 you guys can go up 2-0?
Well, we prepared fairly a lot, and we are all pretty good players. I have full confidence in the abilities of my teammates, and I think against Managrind, we're going to close it out. Maybe even clean sweep, who knows?
Well, that's right. The clean sweep bonus is always in effect with the first episode with you guys. Now, tonight we have Savjz versus Darkwonyx, a very heavy titled matchup because these 2 guys could be titled some of the best in Europe. Do you really feel like it could go either way, or is Savjz favored here?
I wouldn't necessarily say that Savjz is favored, but I wouldn't also say that Darkwonyx is favored. Both those players are really skilled and have proven it by being at those #1 spots on ladder for a long time. And this is why I'm going to be excited to see this match.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Let's hand it back to Artosis and Crip at the casting desk and take the match away.
Thanks, Frodan, and well met, Criparian.
Oh, well met to you.
Thank you. I am Artosis, and welcome back to ESGN TV's Fight Nights. We had a really great match last time, even though it was 3-0. Very exciting games.
Oh, it's always 3-0. If it's going to be 3-0, let's keep it as close as possible, and some of those were.
Yeah, they certainly were. And tonight we have actually a ridiculously good match. Darkwonyx from Team Managrind going up against Savjz from Team DogeHouse. And these 2 are oftentimes considered the best on their teams.
Well, Darkwonyx was elected team captain. I don't know how much of that actually has to do with being good at Hearthstone. But generally, you know, they have to respect him, and he does seem to have that feeling in everyone else here.
Indeed. Well, how do you think that these 2 are going to match up, Criparian?
Neither of them have won a match before.
I
So,
guess that's technically true, yes, but Darkwonyx hasn't played a match before, so I don't know if that's fair.
That's fair.
Okay.
Yeah. No expectations. They're both good. Should be a lot of fun.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and see what they think about the match and about each other as well.
Yep.
My name is Janne Mikkonen. My gamer ID is Savjz, and I play from team DogeHouse.
Well, I don't really care how it's pronounced, because it's not like a Finnish word or anything like that, so it doesn't actually mean anything. So Savjz is how I would like prefer to have it, but Savjz or whatever goes.
Hi, my name is Johan Darkwonyx Hansen, and I play for Team Managrind. The team has developed pretty good. We've gotten to know each other, because we've never met him before as a person. We've only spoken to each other on TeamSpeak, etc., playing with each other. And we haven't really decided a team leader when it comes to the team, but I think I am the team leader as for now, as we have been talking to each other. They have been acting me as a team leader lately. I think I have that spot.
I think we'll take it down, but it won't be easy. They're all really good, but we'll see how they. I don't even know if they're all good, but I think they are, because Managrind has like 50 people in their team, and these are the 4 that they wanted to send here, so there has to be a reason behind it. So it's not going to be easy, but I think we will edge out like a 4-1 win or so.
I fear the most. I wouldn't say I fear anyone, actually. I think I'm pretty calm against everyone I will face. I think Savjz is maybe the stronger player in this case, but I think I can match him pretty nice.
Well, I know that Darkwonyx is a really good player. Like I know him the best out of the 4 players on their team. We've done some practice together, and every now and then I face him on the ladder and stuff. And he's kind of on the European scene. He's kind of like somewhat famous, at least a little bit, about his warrior deck and his warrior play style. And he's the kind of guy who I would rather have on my team than playing against my team. I think he's really good.
Hey guys, I'm with the Managrind team right now just to get their thoughts before the match with Darkwonyx and Savjz. Rios, I want to ask you first, do you feel like Darkwonyx can take home a victory and even up the series?
I definitely can. You know, Darkwonyx is definitely, a ridiculously strong player. He has really very tight, very strong deck lists, and I don't think there's anything Savjz can throw at him that he, won't be able to handle.
And Darkwonyx is a guy who likes to create his own decks. He doesn't really neck that often, right? And so I'm guessing you guys helped build the decks together. How much contribution did you help Darkwonyx prepare, or was he kind of like, these are my decks, leave me alone?
We all worked together, and we didn't land on necessarily the same exact deck list and card for card, between all of the players. But he does have a very strong, theoretical point to start from, and that was definitely something that helped all of us, and we helped him a little bit as well.
One of the classes as well is Priest, and a lot of people give Priest a lot of crap right now on the ladder because it doesn't feel like it's a very reliable and consistent class. But bringing it out in an event like this at Fight Night, you guys must have something up your sleeve, don't you? Don't have to talk too much about it because I know DogeHouse is listening, but you can tell me. Don't
he likes it, and we'll see what happens.
Oh, all right. Okay. Well, I guess we'll have to see. Meanwhile, let's give it back to Crip and Artosis, who's ready for game number 1.
All right, thanks, Frodan. Crip, we have this match. It's almost ready to start, but let's talk about these decks a little bit. First, we have a Rogue deck from Savjz.
Have we seen Rogue so far at Fight Night? I'm not sure that we have.
Only in the Ace matches, I believe.
One of the Ace matches, but in the Ace matches, the choice is sometimes taken away from you.
Yeah, I guess you kind of have to use it.
Yeah.
But you know what? Savjz is someone who has actually kind of made his career off Rogue quite a bit. He's a very expert Rogue player. It's one of his absolute favorite classes.
That's true. And we can expect him to be really comfortable with this deck. Definitely going with playing the stronger one right off the bat. Going for that clean sweep, I suppose.
We want all that money.
You guys like money, do you?
No, not really. But just we like to humiliate other teams. So we'll see if he can do it. It is a Miracle Rogue, and Miracle Rogue is really strong right now.
Well, I think the best deck right now is Miracle Rogue. Most people consider it to be the most difficult deck to play, and I completely agree with that statement. But I think that against control decks, it's the favorite, and it's just too good to pass up.
Yeah, we're up against Darkwonyx playing on Druid. It's a fairly standard Druid, but not completely. A few curveballs, and as we mentioned in the previous match, while it didn't work out for him, the curveballs can really impact the match because it's not stuff you can often play around.
You don't really expect it, and you know, he's got those 2 Mark of the Wild, so that's kind of an interesting card to see in there. And I'd like to see how that works in just a standard Druid deck. And well, I think the game is about ready to start, so we should be seeing that in just a second.
See you after the break for more Fight Night.
People say I'm lucky. I don't know why.
This just in. Nimsh makes leprechauns cry.
ESGN TV's daily news. Just watch.
I got a huge deck. How big is your deck?
Welcome back to Fight Night.
All right, here we go, Crip.
The Druid.
The Druid indeed. Not a great starting hand.
You pick the fast cards against the Rogue, I'd imagine.
Yeah. You don't know exactly what type of rogue this is going to be, because it could be like...
What are the other type of rogues that you frequently see?
Well, sometimes you actually do see just a regular kind of mid-rangey board control rogue, and then you see occasionally some very all-in-y rogues, but I would say Miracle Rogue is probably the most popular rogue right now in the metagame.
Well, Savjz is fishing out for that Auctioneer. He didn't end up getting it, but with the SI in hand and going second, he has, you know, some good stuff against the early game that may come out from the Druid.
Certainly. And you know what? The hand of Darkwonyx, I don't really like that much having Cenarius that early on. A little bit annoying. Doesn't have any really great plays coming up. You know, like here he has to hero power. And other than that, like...
the heal for nothing.
Yeah, and that's kind of rough. You know, I don't think he's going to take any damage this turn.
At the same time, though, I mean, Harvest Golem against the Rogue that's playing this way is not really that much better than an Earthen Ring.
That is true. Well, we may see this Shiv. Yeah, this is just to cycle.
Shiv face. Get the Auctioneer.
Sick turn 2, right?
Whoa!
Ooh, a second Shiv.
Can Shiv face turn 3 now.
Pretty awesome plays. I think we definitely will see this Earthen Ring, but you know, kind of games against Miracle Rogue are kind of funny, right? Like a lot of the cards that you have that are meant to go against other decks don't do a whole lot.
Did he just hover over the Tink Master?
Yes.
That would not be a good idea, would it?
No, I don't think it would be.
Okay.
I mean, I think here is pretty obvious. You just play the Earthen Ring and you know, in a turn. The fact that you already saw the Shiv, like, you're gonna know that this is already basically exactly what you expect, which is Miracle Rogue.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't been shivved to the face and expected to lose in roughly 5 months in Hearthstone, if I believe that's the case.
Yeah.
Back when it was 1 mana.
Wow, yeah, I almost forgot. In fact, I had forgotten for a moment. My brain retreated to a happy place. I remember when...
the ridiculous rogue.
The real Miracle Rogue.
Yeah.
The 15 spells in 1 turn Miracle Rogue.
It's certainly far away from that these days, but I think we will see a pretty good showing here that it still is a very strong deck.
Well, it looks like right now, you know, they're just kind of trading tit for tat here, killing off each other's little minions to start. Gonna have another Shiv in the
really
face.
Fishing for a creature right now. A specific one, in fact, I believe.
Which one do you think that would be? Do you think he's going for Leroy right now?
No.
No?
I don't think he would.
You think he's going for Blood Mage Thalnos?
I don't think he'd mind that one too much.
I mean, those are okay, but...
That's like another Shiv.
It could be like, oh, I don't know, the Gadgetzan Auctioneer, perhaps.
To draw the entire deck? Yeah.
It's fun to draw your entire deck.
Yeah, it is.
Well, right now, obviously, we're going to see this Druid. Would you put this guy in charge mode or taunt mode?
Where shall I strike?
Well,
the charge is going to be it before I could say anything.
Which one was it going to be? You're like, well, it would have been the charge.
I think it might have been the taunt.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I actually oftentimes would choose that too, but with 2 in hand, I can see maybe playing this one as a charge because he's not going to go off till about turn 8.
Sapped.
Yeah.
The thing is, I don't know, I fear the Eviscerate when I do it in charge mode. Oh, there it is.
Well, there is that Eviscerate, and he continues to cycle through using that Phantom Knives, trying to get to a Gadgetzan. And I mean, he'll probably get there eventually. He's drawn quite a few cards already.
I have to tell you, I have made decks, in fact, for preparation for BlizzCon that are reliant on drawing a specific card in the deck.
Yeah.
And I just gave up because it was so frustrating to play. So it is the type of deck where you need a lot of patience.
Well, Savjz definitely has that. Very strong player and really likes the Miracle Rogue right now. So hopefully for him that works.
Fan of Knives Eviscerate again.
Pretty good combo, I guess. Gonna go ahead and play that Fan of Knives. It's really the only draw he has.
He doesn't have the Conceal either, so if he does draw the Auctioneer,
he has Shadow Step, so he could use that.
Yeah, temporarily.
Yeah. You know, it's a reasonable play, and he's getting more of the combo in his hand at least. He's got the Leroy, he's got a Cold Blood. And I believe he had 2 preparation, didn't he?
He does. There's a lot of cards there.
Yeah, he can draw quite a bit when he finally gets this. So now for Darkwonyx, what do you like in here? Cenarius?
I like the Innervate Cenarius.
Yeah. It's pretty efficient. Get a couple taunts out.
Yep.
Probably better to do that than giving your minions +2/+2.
Well, it's an option you can choose, as you saw.
Yeah. All right, so here we are, and so he's still not quite having the cards that he needs. And in fact, he has no actual draw here either.
I mean, bad, I believe.
He could do something like Sap, but in 2 turns, and Cenarius just comes right back down.
And the trees multiply.
Yeah, or they get bigger.
They probably multiply.
They probably multiply.
We've seen 2 Fan of Knives already.
That's true, but Blade Fury, you always got to count for.
Right.
That's the one really scary card when you're playing as Druid, because it's the one card that can really clear your whole board. And it looks like he is going to go ahead and Sap it.
Is it the double attack here? Nope.
Yeah, he's going to skip that for now.
Yeah, that turn really sucked.
Yeah, he's really not got anything going on for him.
He has to draw an Auctioneer.
Really, really soon.
Yeah.
And as for our Druid player here, Darkwonyx.
I mean, if he draws Savage Roar, it's over.
Yeah. And doesn't quite get it. But you know what? Mark of the Wild actually going to be a pretty decent card against Miracle Druid. I mean, Miracle Druid. Oh my god. Miracle Rogue. So I'm going to go ahead and drop that Golem, it looks like.
Positioning it for Betrayal. Trying to keep the Drake at full life, I suppose. Sap again. Oh man.
Wow, he just doesn't have what he needs here. He's getting really low on health. Like, this might end at any turn.
That Cenarius is going to be...
In fact, Cenarius comes out next turn.
Yeah.
And at this case, it will give +2 to everything. Like, that is the play.
Yeah. And I'm sure he's thinking of that. He's thinking of how can I kill some stuff.
Well, I mean, you don't really want to use the Leroy right now, right? That's... Your win conditions really deplete.
Leroy gives him 2 creatures. You kill one with your dagger. If your goal is to remove the number of creatures, Leroy's not going to cut it.
What would you suggest here? He has no draw. He has a Sap. It's like, do you Sap the Azure Drake? Oh, man. Well, the unvalue of these moves.
This is the thing that I'm considering here. When you look at the possible plays, you're only looking at the cards. But I believe if you press Escape, a few more plays become open.
Oh, Escape. I know of these plays. One is Options, where you can mess with the volume, you can change the resolution, stuff like that.
Yeah.
What is that the one you would like to see him? Or the credits? Check the credits?
I actually have never checked the credits.
You play Hearthstone almost for a living at this point. You haven't checked the credits.
No.
That is disrespectful, Crip.
Well, I was referring to the Concede, but he did go with the Sap.
All right. Well, I mean... It's kind of a similar move at this point, right?
Yeah.
Like, but you know, every turn he stays alive is another turn towards that Gajazon Auctioneer that he needs so badly. But I feel like he's going to be a turn late.
Yeah, it's going to be too little, too late, I believe.
Well, I mean, I think here Cenarius giving everything +2
is still okay.
Is a really, I like it as a move because you leave a 4/4 taunt out there, 2 Saps are gone already,
and both eviscerate.
Both eviscerate. So like getting rid of him is actually ridiculously hard now for Savjz.
Yeah.
And this is like that plus Force of Nature next turn. I think Savjz is just dead.
Well, let's see what we get. I mean, if we see the Auctioneer, we see the rest of the deck, but we don't. We see a Cold Blood. We see a very pissed off Leroy killing himself on a 4/4 tree.
Yeah, that's probably not going to be the best play, right?
There is no out. There's no way you can survive with just the board.
Yeah, just the board kills him.
Yeah.
So I guess that's it, and that's a pretty quick one, isn't it?
Yep. A little bit disappointing for Savjz. I believe this is his preferred deck, and for it to get as crushed as it did just because he can't draw an Auctioneer, well, hey, that's how it works. Oh, there's the option.
There it is, Crip.
Yep.
You called it. So Savjz going to have to give that one up. A really rough game for him, and Darkwonyx takes the lead 1-0 to start.
Yeah, not much you can do with a combination deck when you don't draw the card that enables your combos.
If you don't have Gadgets on, you lose.
Yeah.
If you get Gadgets on, well, I mean, you don't necessarily win, but you have a chance at least.
Yeah, I believe on paper in general, the rogue is favored in this matchup, but you know, certainly that's not something you can expect every time.
Yeah, of course. Well, let's throw it over to the couches and see what the players think.
The couches.
Well played. That was like the biggest bullshit ever. What can I do?
Man, what? I would have money against the S07. I would have money against the S07 as well.
Yeah, but it was good.
The game actually would have ended if you'd gotten the auction.
Yeah, it's an easy match, but I don't try.
You had like.
Well, that's the.
It was like the perfect hand.
You could have one auction. You could have gone through your whole day.
Yeah, but that's what happens. Like.
I was just laughing my ass off every time. I mean, that's no auction.
That can happen. It happens sometimes.
Yeah, 1 out of 10 or like 1
yeah. My hand was like, it was perfect, but no auctioneer.
So, what do you want to go? No?
Like what? Once it's turn 7 and you didn't draw auctioneer or anything.
No, it's even fine, like turn 9. You just didn't get it at all.
Yeah.
What are you gonna go?
I don't know.
I mean, here's 6% of his like, scenario and other main doesn't probably watch Super Saiyan and stuff.
So, yeah.
You either go mirror or you play the board.
I think I'll take the. I'll go with the Druid.
Okay.
Then if I, yeah, I'm fine. Then if I beat that, he's gonna pick Priest. Well, I have to think that far, but like.
I think he will save the Priest for the Warrior.
Yeah, he will.
So.
Okay.
So would it be better to pick Warrior? I know Warrior is fine.
It's better to pick Druid.
Yeah. Okay, I'll go with it.
The goldfish?
I'm so happy you remembered that. Like we talked about charging the things, and I was like, "It's gonna charge it. Please charge it."
Yeah, that was really good game.
Especially when I do like my force of nature and stuff. So I just wanted to be as aggressive
really,
as possible.
He needed an auctioneer and he just didn't have one.
That was all good.
So.
I was like counting his cards down all the time, like how many cards he's drawn, like.
When he used the
auction,
Sap, it was like, you know,
second Sap. That was like giving back my scenarios to my hand is just the worst move like he can do against a Druid.
That was the first Sap though.
Yes.
The second one from the Acid Druid.
I had that one, yeah.
But you had a mock as well, so it's like.
Yeah. Yeah, the second Sap was like GG already. Even like stepping scenarios is just GG already because it's 2 more taunt minutes he has to deal with.
Yeah, but Blade Flurry is okay, I guess.
Blade Flurry is okay, but that's his only option. He already used 2 Fan Knives.
Yeah.
So he has no more AoE like clean in the game. Some Furies, whatever, like will be really good.
That's really nice.
Yeah, literally anyone.
What do you think you're gonna play now?
What?
Yeah.
What does he have left? Yes.
Druid Warrior. I think Druid.
Yeah, I think
he'll play Mirror.
I think mine is pretty good against Mirror as well.
Yeah.
Just mock as wild tempo gives.
Yeah.
Right. You have that.
Yeah, that's fine. He doesn't know that. Maybe.
The question is, does he?
I wonder if he does. That's gonna.
I think I play around it. That's why I took 1 Sun Fury instead of 2. Because usually I had 2 Sun Furies in the deck, but I switched 1 out for the Drake. Because I don't really want taunt anyway.
What you can do is if you're holding a Mark of the Wild, unless you're in a dire situation, try to use it in a spot where like
trade it.
Yeah.
You have a Drake, they have a Drake, and you get to use it to make
it
attack and leave a 6/2 Drake.
You always try
so
to play around.
You get a card for the Mark of the Wild.
Exactly, yeah. I'm using the Mock Fist for tempo gain, trading a unit, eventually faceless.
See you after the break for more Fight Night.
If you don't play Hearthstone, you should really just shut your mouth and reevaluate your life. Fight Night.
Wanna get stoned? Hearthstone!
We hope you prepared for more Fight Nights.
All right, so Savjz is going to go ahead and choose his Druid deck for the Druid on Druid matchup.
Yep. The decks are a little bit different, but
yeah.
I feel when I see Druid on Druid, it's always a coin flip.
Well, I mean, I think it's going to come down to some other things as well. Like, for instance, Darkwonyx is playing like a slightly different variation, but without Watchers, whereas Savjz is playing the Watcher style of Druid. Which one do you actually prefer?
Well, the Watchers are effective in this case. Druids don't have like removal, and you can't silence it, so you, in the end, run something into it. And
I guess that's true.
Could be a lot of that.
He does have the Black Knight in there, so that might be helpful in that situation as well.
Oh, certainly. But I just feel like the Druid itself is not aggressive enough, so you end up having a bunch of cards, and you know it's a tempo battle that can go either way, really.
Certainly. It's kind of like what we saw before with the Shaman vs. Shaman. Whoever gets the board just starts dictating every single turn.
Right. So those innervates should be pretty important.
Oh yeah, you draw that innervate and a Yeti, man. That's always fun. Well, let's go ahead and jump into this first game and see who gets their innervates.
Malfurion versus Malfurion. I must protect the...
All right, here we go. Down at the bottom, Darkwonyx. Looks like he actually has a pretty solid opener here with a couple Harvest Golems and a Sun Fury.
Yeah, Sun Fury, just 2-drop, keep it.
Yeah.
Seems to be the same case for Savjz, but no Harvest Golem. Is Harvest Golem really that important in this matchup? Because the 2/1 does die.
It does. Like, it goes down, but it's going to be useful, especially when you already have a Sun Fury in your hand as well. Because with both of them, then you're kind of taxing the removal.
So I'm just thinking about the Ancient of Lore.
It's so powerful in Druid on Druid, or any like slower decks. That is the card that really helps you to win in a later game. But throwing it away, and I have to agree.
Yeah.
And no innervates for anyone, but this is a pretty solid hand, just a little bit later hand for.
You can coin the Yeti. I mean, on turn 3, it has killed everything.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good. So you end up drawing to the Mark of the Wild.
Oh
man.
Ooh, do you coin?
Turn 1 Yeti and then give it taunt.
Wow. Well, that's a turn 1 Yeti right there, Crip. Always very, very annoying.
Well, I think you Sun Fury and then you Harvest Golem and then you attack it.
Yeah, that looks like that's about it. But the Yeti definitely going to get some value out of it. Don't forget,
this is one of those big tempo plays that we were talking about.
And definitely, I feel like that's going to put Savjz a bit ahead overall.
Yeah. You invest in the cards right away, but they do pay back. Right now, we may see possibly a mistake from Savjz if he goes for face, because he will be punished by the Mark of the Wild.
That's right. I think he's probably going to kill this off, though, right?
I would, but I don't play aggressively in control matchups, and this might be a control matchup where it may favor that type of play.
All right. Well, it looks like he is actually going to go for face, and that Mark of the Wild definitely going to come in handy then. Well, that would make it a 4/5 taunt. Still, that's something that can be killed off without too much trouble.
Can now finish the Yeti off.
Yeah. That I think I might like that more than Mark of the Wild, because Mark of the Wild is not quite as mana efficient stuff. But you use your Savage Roar,
it's one
and
of
the
those
math
cards you
changes
really want.
everything. Like, you know already that this is not Token Druid, because you already played it in that previous game. So you know they're only playing one Savage Roar.
I think we've seen. We've seen 2 before in Fight Night, I believe. I believe it was Liquid Valley that ran the double Savage or double Force of Nature.
Okay, but
certainly
like the metagame is kind of stabilized since then, and you just never see 2 Savage Roar unless it's Token Druid, just because you know, in earlier game situations like this, it's not quite as good. And he's not going to attack at all here.
He probably feels that if Savage is attacked face once, he'll do it again, and he can gain more value from a Savage Roar in the following turn.
All right, well, we'll see about
or
that in a second.
Perhaps avoid using it altogether.
yeah. That would be the best case scenario, right?
On 4, you can Mark of the Wild
and hero ability.
Yeah,
and that would be really nice. Well, at least he, I guess, can get rid of this still, but he's going to have to take some more face damage and sacrifice his other minion as well. And that's definitely some advantages here for Savjz.
Well, Darkwonyx can come back.
Ooh.
Swipe is nice, but is it really the best play?
I would say yeah, actually. I think it is. If you go ahead and swipe the Yeti, then you can kill off the Sun Fury as well. And if your opponent wants to get rid of that at 4 mana, like, he can use his hero ability to get rid of it, but that means there's no other good play that turn. So either you get to keep your 2/1, or they have a weak turn, and then you're on 5 mana and you can easily play your Druid of the Claw. I think the swipe is for sure the best play here, in my opinion.
I'm just thinking it through. Yeah, you're right. He does end up doing that as well.
All right, now we get to see what Savjz wants to actually do about this. And at 4 mana, well, he has Innervate, so I
think that's the card you need. You need to use Ancient of Lore with. But
yeah.
Do you really play nothing this turn? I guess so.
Yeah. Well, the Ancient of Lore is something that if there's no good play this next turn, like even if there's like a Yeti or something, it's still kind of okay. But it should be a Druid of the Claw.
I think it will be in Taunt as well.
You think it'll be Taunt mode?
I was wrong last time.
Well, if he goes Taunt mode, you have to be really careful about that, because does he run the Black Knight? The Black Knight is going to be such value.
We've seen it in a lot of the Managrind decks. It's difficult to say whether, you know, it's maybe something that people are evolving into, or it's a change specifically for this tournament. But if it's the first, you know, he may be playing around to that, as you mentioned.
All right, we'll see in just a second.
But I don't think the 4 charge damage is really relevant at this point.
4 charge? Yeah, no, I don't think it is either. And in fact,
on a bigger board.
Yeah, I feel like if you go for that, well, it's basically you're just going for that specifically so that Black Knight doesn't affect you. But at the same time, he has Mark of the Wild, so you could actually play this as a taunt, because he's going to Black Knight something eventually. You can't play around it all the way.
Yeah.
And little does he know there is actually no Black Knight in here. So
I think he's thinking about that. The other plays like Earthen Ring and then maybe Mark of the Wild that are hero power, but those are pretty poor compared to a Druid of the Claw right now.
I would say so. Earthen Ring definitely something that can become a little bit better later on. All right, so he's really thinking about this. Not surprised either, because, you know, you and I are sitting here talking about it without the pressure on us, and it took us a minute to really figure out what would be the best play there.
Taunt was the one that he should have put.
Yeah,
and he did. He's going to go and Innervate Ancient of Lore play. Very good stuff. You cycle through the deck, and Innervate on 5 often is not that useful in this type of deck.
That's
other than that play, of course, which is very useful.
Pretty fantastic play there. Yeah. And the Black Knight does come up for Darkwonyx.
I think here you mark the Wild Druid of the Claw, and you can even go for the trade into the heal.
I think that's absolutely the best play by far here. To be able to do that and keep him alive, it's pretty awesome.
You go to 8 health minus 5 plus the 3, so he'll be at 6 health again. Be at 6/6 Druid of the Claw.
That's really nice. You know, that's something that obviously like swipe doesn't take care of, even like spell damage swipe. So, you know, then again, you're looking at it and saying, well, turn 6 is coming up. Does he have the Black Knight?
Yeah.
But I think it's worth it here, because either way, the Black Knight's going to kill him. Right. And this way, at least you get to kill this minion off. You're not taking any damage, and you get another minion on the board. Really nice play by Darkwonyx.
Yep, he's making all the right plays. I think he's taking his time to make them. He realizes that, you know, it's very important to make the correct play, and he's not missing them.
Well, by the way, Crip, just as we sit here and wait to see what Savjz wants to do this turn against such a powerful board, how are you liking these Mark of the Wilds so far? We've seen them a few times now.
They haven't been terrible on the turn that they're played, but I feel they're the kind of cards that sit in the hand for a while until finding that right spot. And I think
kind of situational.
I think that contributed to somewhat of a problem in Forsen's match.
His hand, he had 2 of those in hand just about forever.
Yeah. And when he played them, they were all right. But having options until that point may have been better for the game overall.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you there. And oh god, the Tink Master comes out and makes the 5/5. Well, that's still better than a 6/6 taunt, right?
A little bit.
A little tiny bit. And you look at his hand, there's just nothing else here. Like, do you play a Sun Fury? I mean, that's up to you, I guess, right?
Savjz has the cards, but not having the board, not having the tempo.
Yeah.
As we talked about, probably is the game.
You know, that's one of the things that sometimes happens when you play your Ancient of Lore into a board where you have nothing on your side, but your opponent already played a minion the last turn. It's definitely something I've seen a lot in Druid on Druid, where you're like, okay, if you really don't take complete control this turn, I'm going to start to snowball.
Yeah. Is it Black Knight time? Because we haven't seen the Watchers.
Yeah.
Sun Fury is standard, right?
Sun Fury is completely standard. You see 2 of those in just about every Druid deck. I mean, not Darkwonyx's, but just about everyone. So I think the Black Knight is actually completely good here. I don't, like, just getting another 4 or 5 body on the board, it's ridiculous. And your 3/3 can easily take out this Sun Fury if you like, and attack to the face for 5. I love it. I think that's a great move. Because even no matter what he does, even getting rid of that 3/1 that's using up mana that you can't because you need to get minions on your board.
So after that, I'd probably hit with the 5 damage into the 2/3, but considering you have Savage Roar next turn, you may actually want to do more damage to the player. You do 2 more through that and 3 more through the Druid, probably finishing the Farseer off. That's another 5 to the face.
Yeah,
so I think that's what he's thinking about. I think the Black Knight decision is clear.
Yeah. Anything else is a little bit odd, but you know, there are some other moves, I guess, like he could go Harvest Golem plus Blood Mage, but well, I guess that is what he's going to do.
Okay.
And the thing is, what this does do is gives him an additional minion there on the board, and that's going to be nice because of Savage Roar as well.
Yeah. Yeah, the Blood Mage can't get taken out for 1 if he wants to take out the 3/3, which I'd imagine would at the very least attack the 2/2.
Yeah. Of course. Alright, here he goes. He does take out that taunt. Gonna go ahead and use the hero power, of course, because nothing else left to do this turn. And right to the face.
This is pretty good time to spell damage swipe.
Well, unfortunately...
Neither card is... Oh, it does have the spell damage, but not quite the mana if you did have a swipe.
Alright, so do you do a Druid of the Claw here? I mean...
Yeah, I think you Druid of the Claw. You kill the 3/1 with the hero power, you kill the 1/1 with the 2/3.
Yeah. That definitely seems to be the best play here.
He wants more options.
Wow. Do you feel this is a little bit too greedy?
I think so.
It's just there's so much potential damage out there, and I know that it's only going to be turn 8 next turn, so he might be thinking, well, you know, he doesn't have the full combo, but still, even just a Savage Roar with a couple minions out is a lot of damage. I don't think he's going to do that this turn, though.
Well, the Savage Roar puts him from 7 to a +6, so 13, and there's Force of Nature.
Hey, there you go. So this turn I would say that he's probably going to remove what he can. Like, if he attacks for 5 right now and uses Hero Power plus Wrath on the Drake and just kills the 2/2, he just wins next turn because he is, even if his board gets cleared, it's 14, right?
Yeah. Yep. Kill the Drake.
Yeah,
the
that's
2/2 with the Harvest Golem.
Pretty obvious play there.
Face.
And here's the thing, too. You look at a play like that, you're like, I'm at 14. As soon as I see 14 health against a Druid, I'm like, uh-oh, this is danger zone on turn 9.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
So he's got to play the taunts here.
Yeah, he absolutely does have to.
Oh, just 1.
Thing is, he's still dead anyways. There's just no way out of this, actually. The game is already decided at this point.
But, I mean, if you're in this position, you have a card advantage, you're a little bit low on life, opponent has the board, but you can hope that the opponent doesn't have that combo.
Yeah. Well, 3 cards in hand, it's not necessarily there. You probably assume at this point he probably has 1 of the cards at least, so you're really on the ropes.
If that is the case, I believe the Druid of the Claw Harvest Golem is better than the Druid of the Claw Hero Power.
I have to agree.
So he's
the Hero Power makes not much sense. Yeah. You have to start repopulating the board and just hope that they can't finish you yet.
Yep.
Because, you know, he does have that card advantage. Like, if that combo weren't in the hand, like, let's say that he had, like, a Sun Fury and, you know, I don't know, just some
more
random... Yeah, another Wrath in his hand or something instead of that combo, then suddenly, you know, playing out all these bigger minions, he can start to gain an advantage and get that board up really quickly.
It's pretty interesting that the game turned around so quickly. The turn 1 Yeti, you know, it commanded the board, but it got a bit punished because he didn't clear right away.
Yeah.
And the swipe ended up being the definitive card.
Absolutely. It made a very rough situation for him, and You know, those turn 1 Yetis, they seem so scary, but...
Oh, often they are.
The Mark of the Wild actually was one of my favorite parts of this whole game, I have to say. Just being able to clear out that Ancient of Lore and just gaining such an advantage off of that.
Well, the advantage was sustained when
the tank
didn't really punish the Mark of the Wild so bad.
Yeah, if that was a 1-1, this game would look very different, I think.
Yeah.
All right, so we should be seeing Force of Nature plus Savage Roar. And that's it. And that is going to go ahead and give quite a lead here to Darkwonyx, Crip.
Yep, Darkwonyx is up 2-0. Savjz it's the same fate Trump has with the 0-3 record.
Oh man, there's a lot of pressure on you when that's happening. You're coming down playing against the best Hearthstone players in the world, and you keep losing. So, you know, hopefully Savjz can bring it back and at least make the series close.
Well, for your team.
Well, I mean, just for the viewers as well.
The viewers want to see punishment.
Well,
they want to see suffering.
They're watching punishment and suffering right now, Crip, that's for sure. Let's go ahead and throw it over to Frodan and see what the players think.
So, Jan, I want to ask you, man, you must be feeling pretty good. You had actually a little bit of an interesting start. It was pretty rough because you turned 1 Yeti, but you recovered really nicely. Tell me some thoughts about the game.
Game was actually pretty good. He got the dream starts, Coin Yeti, or Coin Invert Yeti, that is. But I thought that my units actually traded quite efficiently, especially with Mark of the Wild. I was able to come back into the game because he should have traded my units down. I couldn't mark any units, but he didn't expect I had to mark either because it's one of our special strategies in this case.
And the last deck that he'll be playing is a Priest one. Oh no, that's your deck.
That's my deck.
So then his last deck
is a warrior.
It's a warrior class, and you're really familiar with it. I remember this question, and you must be feeling really confident because you know this matchup in and out because of how well you know warrior, correct?
Yeah, I think the Druid actually has the advantage in this matchup.
All right, well, good luck in the last match. You're looking pretty strong.
Thank you.
All right, we're here to talk to Nyx a little bit in the middle of Savjz versus Darkwonyx. Savjz is down 0-2, and he's come down to his last deck. Can he pull it back, Nyx?
Of course he can. I have all my face lies in his hands, and those were some pretty boring games. Not much going on. He just couldn't do much, didn't get the right cards. So I hope he gets some RNG this time.
What are some of the words that you told Savjz? Because it seems like DogeHouse without Nimsh is a little bit emotion-based. You guys kind of react pretty sharply if you don't get things your way. What kind of advice did you guys give him, or was you any talking at all?
So he knows the matchup pretty well. He's playing the warrior now. So I just told him, play it like you always play it on ladder. Try to keep the armor smiths, get out the early drops fairly early and don't mulligan them so you don't draw them later. But he knows the matchup. He doesn't need much help.
Just play the game and hopefully hope for the best. All right, well, thank you so much, Nyx, for your time, and good luck, Savjz.
Well, it certainly does look like Savjz is going to need a bit of luck to turn this one around, Crip.
A little bit. Playing the warrior. Maybe not quite that much. The warrior seems to match up pretty well against the druid, but
yeah, I think it does fine against druid overall. You know, it's got all those big beefy creatures towards the end that are kind of hard to kill off, and some pretty efficient removal as well.
Yep, the druid's a tempo class if you get the right cards against it, and there's certainly a lot of those in the warrior. It can be pretty hard for the druid to get anything started.
Well, you know, I guess let's go ahead and jump into a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we'll see if Savjz can start a comeback.
We'll be right back with Fight Night.
I'm Forsen, and I kick scrotums with my totems at ESGN Fight Night.